What is good, everybody? Welcome into the Bluebloods official podcast of FCS Football Central on SI. And today we are joined by a very, very special guest, my guy Cole Gonzales, Western Carolina quarterback, two-time now FCS All-American, all SoCon selection, was an all-freshman SoCon selection 2 years ago. Man, Cole, I appreciate you joining the show, man.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Thank you so much.
Man, I want to start here because you kind of burst on the scene as a freshman. You came in, started 4 games, saw action in 7 or 8, really showed some flashes, and then last year was your breakout season. Talk a little bit about your development. Was it always the plan to come in and see a lot of action as a true freshman, or is it just kind of happen that way for you?
It just happened. So I came in right after I graduated high school. I got here June 1st and enrolled in the summer workouts with all those guys. I was one of 8 quarterbacks at the time, and I was the youngest in the class. I'm a hard worker, and I grew up in a football family my entire life. So with my dad coaching me my entire life and being in that environment, I knew what I was up against, and I knew what I had in store for myself. So I worked, and finally got to the second string as a freshman. And I kind of just played by the strings and went out there and played and had fun. I really had no idea what was going on at the time because I was young, but unfortunately our starter went down for Georgia Tech, and they threw me in there, and he was out the following week, and I had to play versus Presbyterian. That was my first college start, and that's kind of what just kicked it off. And Carlos came back some during the season, but they ran with me the back end of the season, and then I just went on from there, went into the spring, and went on to the next season, and just did my thing.
You come in last year, and I'll say this: I think there were some people, including myself, kind of touting you guys as a dark horse because you guys had a lot of freshmen that played 2 years ago, and it was like, man, if those guys grow up, Western Carolina could be scary. FCS All-American, SoCon Offensive Player of the Year. You led the nation in multiple key statistics. What was your turning point, and where did you notice that it was going to be such a special season for you?
Um, you know, when it was a competition all of last summer. They brought in a Harvard transfer, Charlie Dean, and I had to go. He was a veteran guy, grad transfer. He had already played, and I really hadn't had all that experience yet. And he had been a college starter, so I was against the tables. The odds were against me, so I went in there and fought, and I started leading. I just played confident, and then after we played Arkansas, it didn't go our way, and I came out for Stanford, and I had a different mindset. I was like, this is the game that it's gonna make or break for me. And I just flipped the switch and bought into those guys, and I know all those guys that I went out on the field, they trusted me, and just getting the ball to my playmakers, and it showed. So having their confidence around me and having them have my back is just what really flipped the switch for me internally.
I look at you guys last season. I was at the Furman game last year. I got up to North Carolina for that one. It just seemed like as soon as you guys kind of hit the peak, right after that Chattanooga game, injuries just started happening across the board on both sides of the ball, and including yourself getting hurt late in that last game of the year. Talk a little bit about the mindset of the team and just yourself, because I don't think people focus enough on the mental health aspect of injuries when you should be out there and you should be playing. What was that like for you, and how hard was that for you not to be able to be out on the field in that last game?
That was one thing we struggled with last year. We were climbing the mountain so well last year, and all the way until Chattanooga, and then we just injuries killed us. I really do believe in our. You could ask our head coaches that if we would have stayed healthy, I really think we would have ran the table. It's just we fell apart piece by piece with injuries. But for myself, that was the first time I've ever got hurt playing football, so it was a different feeling for me, and it's still with me to this day. I rehabbed my shoulder all the way through from all the spring to summer to now, and I feel better than ever. But having to sit on the sideline and watch your guys go to war when you can't be out there and you fought all season long with those guys, it was a different kind of feeling. I try to put my pads back on. I tried to grab the ball on the sideline, try to start throwing again, but I couldn't get it going, and it sucks, man. And having to ride home with that on that 5 hour bus ride from VMI, knowing our season was over, and we were all banged up. It's sat with us, and it's still sitting with us to this day. So that's been with us ever since we started winter workouts all the way through spring, all the way to now. So we know what we're capable of doing, and no, we don't want the same ending as that sour ending we had last year.
I look at your game and I'll be honest. I know how players are. You guys nitpick your games more than even analysts, analysts and coaches and everything. What's one or two things in your game that you really honed in and focused on that you want to improve going into your junior season?
Oh, so a lot of things that I've been working on are just seeing the. I think I got a lot better in the offseason, seeing reading the coverages and getting my eyes back faster and stuff. But also my footwork with the RPOs and the mesh and stuff because we're a big RPO team, and that's where I can get the ball to most of my receivers and have a big explosive plays, and that's what helped me throughout all of last year to open up big runs and big throws. So definitely my feet on the RPOs, and then just trusting the pocket. Not young kids, they want to move around. They don't want to sit in there. But I've gotten a lot better just trusting my guys sitting in there. And, I'm a tough kid. I'm going to willingly stand in there and take a hit. I'm not going to move around and try to go on the run. I'm going to stand in there at the last second, try to throw the ball in the money and take a blow for my guys.
One of the biggest storylines this all season was obviously Cade accepting that offensive coordinator job at Pitt, and there were a few guys who decided to enter the transfer portal, go with him. Was there any consideration for you to hit the portal and go to Pitt potentially? And if not, what made Western Carolina the place for you?
There was not, I was super happy for those guys. I remember giving Cade my final hug, super happy for him. And I hope they have an outstanding season this year. I'm rooting for those guys. Um, but, I felt like I owed it to this school and I felt like I owed it to Coach Bell himself to come back and win a conference title for the first time ever. And I feel like I can do that. And I felt like with the guys we had returning, we were very capable. We're a very explosive offense. And, I know the offense that we're in, and I trust that I got with our new OC, Coach Ronald Wells, and me and him have been working day in and day out. So he trusts me, I trust him, and I felt like it was just right. Have a chance to go make history for the first time ever. Write your name down in record books, like it's everything you dream of, right? Like being the first one to do it, and I think we really can. So that was something that sat with me after the VMI game because we were so close, and the whole offseason I was like, I want to do it, and I'm going to be the first one to do it.
You mentioned Coach Kerwin Bell. I don't think there's many. I don't think enough fans give him the credit he deserves for the championship background that he has, and just in terms of head coaching, even as an assistant. Talk a little bit about what is he like behind the scenes, man? Because we see it in the media where he's one of the most animated, one of the most fun guys to talk to. But what is he like behind the scenes in his relationship with the players?
He's awesome. He's a big family guy. He treats every one of us like we're his sons. He's got 100 something sons on his plate every day. So he's the best with us. The best thing that about him is when we're out there practicing, he's not running the practice. He lets his coaches like work with us. He sits back, watches them work with us. He's not running the show. He lets our position coaches work with us and run the show with us at practice. But that man, I mean, that guy's given me the best thing I've ever asked for, the opportunity to play for him and for who he is and his history at Florida and the championships that he's won. So, and the offense that he's built, man, it's put me in the position to where I am today. So I'm super thankful for him and for him giving me all of his trust to go out there every Saturday to represent our school and him every weekend to go win. So he's an awesome man.
We talked about this a little bit before the show, man. I want to talk about just your relationship with your father, Billy Gonzales. For those who don't know, two-time national champion, current wide receiver coach at Florida. Man, I think it was funny. You posted, I think it was a Father's Day or Happy Birthday post, and one of the pictures I took of you guys at the Furman game, and I didn't even realize I got it until I posted it. But man, just how close you guys are and how involved he is in your development. Talk a little bit about growing up, how instrumental he was in kind of helping you mold into the player that you've become today.
He's my hero, and he'll forever be my hero and my mentor for always. Um, Having the chance, I mean, there's not a lot of kids that get to grow up in a coaching lifestyle. And the one that I got to do, I mean, he's been in the SEC for 30 plus years, and I've got to move around to some of the coolest spots and meet some of the coolest guys. But, he's been teaching me everything that I've known about football since I was itty bitty. And I'm so thankful for that. I know he didn't get to come to a lot of my high school games growing up because he always was traveling or he had preparation on Fridays at the hotels and stuff. But he's been watching my film ever since I was a kid. He breaks it down for me. He calls me. He calls me before every game. And the special thing is that all of his players are like brothers to me. Every single one growing up to like Percy Harvin, Riley Cooper, to Trayvon Grimes, Van Jefferson. I could reach out to all those guys and they would hit me back in an instant. So having all those relationships with those guys that my dad had developed over the years is awesome. But he's my hero, and he breaks downfield with me. He actually goes over the defenses that we're playing, that I'm playing the week of which game we're ever playing when he has his own plate filled. So the fact that he can multitask and talk to me and help me out is everything I've ever dreamed of. So that guy's truly my hero, and he's taught me everything I've known in this game today.
Kind of a lighthearted one, man. Who was tougher on you as a coach? Coach Bell or your dad?
Oh, that's a tough one. My dad's really hard on me because I want to be perfect. But KB expects me to be perfect every play in his offense. So it's hand in hand. Growing up with an SEC coach as a father that's a tough one. But living up here for the last 3 years with Kerwin Bell, I mean, it goes hand in hand. So they're both truly inspirational to me. But I'd definitely probably say my father, just growing up all my life with him and having that environment. But Kerwin Bell is slowly creeping up there behind him. I'll tell you that.
Man, I love that. You talked about this, first playoff appearance you guys are searching for since 1983. That's when Western Carolina went to the Natty. And then the first conference championship in school history at the FCS level for you, man. How much would that mean to you to be the quarterback that leads Western Carolina to the historic season like that?
It mean everything to me. Like, I truly, my family would tell you myself, as I was a baseball player in high school and I wasn't highly recruited as a football player. When Coach Bell gave me the opportunity, I couldn't turn it down because I wanted to play football. I grew up in a football family, and having the opportunity to be doubted by a bunch of people coming in and actually turn this place around and mark your name in the record books for the first time, it would mean absolutely everything to me in this university. And this university deserves it. They have never had one. And I feel like we have the team to do it and the staff to do it. And I want all that pressure on my back, and I'm willing to take it. And I'm willing to work, and I'm willing to go out there every Saturday and give everything I got to write my name down in the record books to be the first ones to do it.
Obviously, you still have 2 years left, potentially at the college level. And I look at you as one of the guys that potentially could make that jump to the next level in the NFL. Has there been any feedback? Have you talked to any scouts about what they see in your game, and just what's next in your development in terms of getting to the NFL from Western Carolina?
We had a couple of scouts come by. We had some really good guys last year, especially David White, who's got picked up by the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we had a lot of guys come around for him last year during our practices. And my name, as soon as more and more games went on, I progressively climbed up the charts in there and got more talked about. I know I got talked about a little bit and asked about by a couple of scouts, and Coach Kate Bell would tell me a little bit about it. But I'm not really into all of that yet. I'm still young. I still got 2 years left, and I'm just here in the moment trying to enjoy it. My dream is to play in the NFL. I want to play football as long as I can. And if that opportunity comes to me, I'd be super stoked and run with it. But I'm just living in the moment right now. Just trying to go win games every Saturday and get better every day. So it's all really my mindset is right now.
You've kind of achieved, outside of maybe the Walter Payton Award and being the consensus SoCal Player of the Year, man, you've kind of achieved a lot over your first 2 years. What are the goals? Because I know that everyone wants the team success, but man, even when I was playing, everyone has that notes app in their phone where you got some personal goals written down. What are your biggest goals for the 2024 season?
I got my goals on my door right there, actually behind me. I just want to get better every day. 1% better is my motto every day. But my goals, imagine going from a kid that was a nobody to a FCS All-American would be absolutely awesome. So that's definitely up there. But my whole mindset is I'm a big team guy. It's never about me. Those guys are what made me, getting the balls to my players and the guys up front that protect me. They've made me who I am today. So to have a chance to win a conference title and make a run in the playoffs for the first time in a long time would mean everything to me. So, but I'm stoked about all the preseason awards, but in the end, those still don't mean anything to me. Those are preseason for a reason. All that matters at the end of the year for me for that. So my goals would definitely have a chance to be a top 3 finalist at the Walter Payton, an All-American, and write my name down in the record books with this team.
Some quick hitters. When you look at your game, is there a current or former NFL quarterback that you feel like your game models the most?
Um, you know, that's a really good question. I mean, as a kid, I grew up, I wanted to run around the field like Johnny Manziel, but that's not just who I am. So, I would say I get compared to a lot like Brock Purdy for his size and just his athletic ability, and I could see it. I mean, I'm not very big. I'm 6 foot 205 right now, so and he's not very tall. But if I had to say, I loved watching Kyle Trask in his film. How he doesn't have the strongest arm, and they ran a lot of RPOs back at Florida when he was there with my dad. So I'd love to say Kyle Trask, and then probably Drew Brees for sure.
I like that one. You know, it's let's say I'll give you a situation, man. 3rd and 10, you're on the +40. What's your go-to route? If Coach Bell says, Cole, make the call, what route are you calling? What's your favorite route to throw?
Oh man, 3rd and 10. If we're trying to move the sticks, I'm probably going something with like a high-low read, with like a dig backside probably. So um, I'm probably going with a corner and then an out and then a dig backside and then put my back on an op to open up the window backside for the dig, just depending on leverage. So I have multiple solutions. If it's a high-low read, I can throw it in the window to the corner. If they cover two, I can open up the window for the dig with the back out. So probably something simple, nothing too crazy. But you know, people don't know I used to run in high school, so I'm not scared to use my legs. So if it comes down to that opportunity, my coaches won't let me run it for reasons because they want me to get hurt. But I was a runner in high school, so people do forget about that. I still am able to run the football.
You kind of hinted at it earlier, man. You were a high level baseball player in high school as well. Was when you were in your recruitment process, what was a big pitch that you'd be able to play both sports? And really, too, looking at your game, is that a sport that you feel like you could have played at a possibly at a D1 level in college as well?
Oh, 100%. I played travel baseball my entire life, and I was nationally ranked for baseball. And I thought it was like I was. It was maybe went up on a visit to Western Carolina a week before signing day, and signing day was 2 days later. I committed. I was like, I'm going to play football, and I thought I was going to have the opportunity to play baseball here, but my freshman year, I had to go into spring because all of our quarterbacks had ended up transferring because I was the youngest one, and then obviously I got hurt this past season, so I haven't had the opportunity to play baseball in the last 2 years, and I truly duly miss it. But it's taught me a lot, and it's really helped me out as a football player as well because I have a quicker release than most of a lot of the guys, and I have a lot more arm slots just having that opportunity. So, but I do truly believe I could have went to play baseball at a big time school. My parents know that I was a really good baseball player.
No, I've seen the film, and I heard another interview where I know you were thinking about playing both sports at Western Carolina. When you look at your career, just over the past 2 years, you can name one on your team and then maybe one or two on the other teams. Who are one or two of the best defensive players you've ever had to face in your career?
Oh, on our team, there's a lot because we're a lot of fast guys on our defensive side.
Yeah.
Um, the last 3 years, I'd have to say, Cam McCutcheon was really good my freshman year. He's with the Los Angeles Rams right now as a defensive back. Um, and then linebackers, we have Hayward McQueen who can fly around, and he's just so fast to get through the hole. And man, he's really good. But all around, It's hard for me to pick one just on our defense because they're so good all around. They're so fast. They're just so different. But that I've had to go, I'd say Landon Jackson from Arkansas last year. Yeah, that's a big joker.
Yeah.
he he's an outstanding player, and he's going to get picked up this year. So I'm rooting for him. And then in the SoCon, Chattanooga's always got some big guys. Not specifically, but their defensive line's always something that we have to game plan for that week. So I'd probably say Chattanooga's defensive line in total, and so.
And I feel you. I mean, there's a reason that I think defensive tackles don't get the SoCon Defensive Player of the Year often, and they've had two in the past, I think 3 years, that the three tech that have been named Defensive Player of the Year, which is crazy. Is there
Exactly.
I know the coach speak and the player speak is, man, but we're just taking one game at a time. It's the next game means the most. But is there one or two games on the schedule, Cole, that you have circled as statement games next year?
For sure, every game. um, I would say definitely going up the road on Montana. That will be a fun one. You know,
Yes.
having that opportunity to play a powerhouse in the FCS, going on the road to their place, and having the opportunity to play in their home field would be really cool. So that's definitely marked on my calendar. And then um, I haven't beat Mercer yet. We're gonna go down there this year, and I know they have a whole new staff. So definitely that game because I kind of lost that game last year. I turned the ball over 4 times, and that one stung. So I really the back end of the SoCon is just that's where it gets me. I got 4 teams I really need to beat: Chattanooga, Stanford, um, ETSU. I want to keep the rock. I'm 2-0 right now, knock on wood. And then you got probably Chattanooga. That's homecoming this year, so probably Chattanooga.
Man, that game between Chattanooga last year, man, I know your adrenaline had to be through the roof on that one. That was the most insane game I think I watched last year in the
Haven't
FCS.
I mean, I couldn't even believe it myself for having a game. Being at a game like that was actually something you dream of as a kid, and having to live in the moment was something unreal. My heart was pounding. Like I'm not gonna, my heart was racing. They scored, and we had 53 seconds, but I flipped the switch in my mind. I was like, "We're gonna go do this." Like I had full faith. They gave us way too much time, and but my heart was racing, the adrenaline going up and down, back and forth the entire game that was a really cool experience though. That was one of my favorite games ever.
A shout out to Richard too, man. It also helps when you have an All American kicker that
Oh,
if you got in field goal range, you probably felt really good about it.
oh, without a doubt. Shout out to Richard McCollum. That guy is Mr. Automatic forever, forever and always. So I miss that guy, but you could always rely on him every time we were in field goal range.
Man, the last question, just Cole, your message to the Western Carolina fans watching this, Western Carolina fans out there about what they can expect from you and this team next season.
Um, I'm excited to see all of you guys for our first home game. Why not Whitmire versus Campbell? You know, it's going to be a fun one. You guys should be excited. We're really fast, really dynamic, and you guys know that. It's going to be an exciting one. I hope you guys are all on my back and ready to row the boat with me because I'm all in. I'm all in for nothing. This is the year to go home with the championship, and that's my whole mindset. Is what it's our time. It's what our team motto is our time, and this is it. So I'm excited to see all of you guys for our first home game, and hopefully see some of you guys on the road at NC State for our first big away game for the first game of the year. So let's go do this thing, and you guys can put all your trust in me. So let's go do it.
Cole, I appreciate you so much, man. I know fall camp's rolling right now, and man, you're getting ready for a huge season. I already got that Chattanooga, Western Carolina game circled, man. I'm coming back up to North Carolina for that one. I missed last year, and so I gotta be there this year, man. Because I love the area that Colowe's in anyway, man. I stayed in Asheville last year, had a good old weekend and everything. So I'll be up there, man. Hopefully, I get to see you before the game. But real quick, Cole, let people know where they can find you, follow you on social media, and anything you need to plug, man. This time is yours.
Yes, sir. Thank you for so much for having me. It's been an honor, and like you said, Cullowhee is one of the most underrated spots in the college football area. It's one of the most prettiest places to play football. So, hidden in those mountains. But you guys can follow me at my Instagram, Cole_Gonzales 26, and then my Twitter is Cole Gonzales 8. That's all about really I'm rolling with right now. So, Zach, thank you so much for having me. I've had an absolute time, and hopefully I can get back on sometime during the season.
Absolutely, man. Listen, I'll definitely be reaching out, guys. Make sure to go follow Cole, all social media, man. One of the best quarterbacks, not just at the FCS level in college football, but for Cole Gonzales, for myself, for the Blue Bloods FCS Football Central, man. We are out.